Hi there, students. Here we have an essay for IELTS. The difference between countries is becoming less and less evident as people all over the world wear the same fashions, watch the same TV channels, use the same brands, and have similar eating habits. Do you think that the advantages of this trend outweigh the disadvantages? 250 to 270 words. Cosmopolitan and unified fashion, culture, food, and even political taste are accepted as inevitable in the wake of globalisation. I thought about this first sentence for quite a while, and I actually quite like it. Cosmopolitan and unified. I might say cosmopolitan, unified fashion, but I think that "and" gives it a little bit of pizzazz, a little bit of extra. So cosmopolitan and unified fashion, culture, food, and even political taste. Maybe I might say political tastes, perhaps, are accepted as inevitable in the wake of globalisation. Good phrase, in the wake of, that's great. Most of us believe that it is right that more affordable travel options, ubiquitous internet networks, and omnipresent TV series and films may bring a helping hand to cross boundaries between traditional cultures. So most of us believe that it is right that more affordable travel options, ubiquitous internet networks, and omnipresent film and may. You see, if most of us believe, that's at odds with May, because May says it's possible that. But here you're already saying that most of us already believe, and this is you're going to have to use a can. I know you're trying to use the may, and that's a good thing, but it doesn't quite work here. Can bring a helping hand. You see, you don't even need anything. Films, yeah, can give a helping hand. Give a helping hand. Normally, to give someone a helping hand, can give a helping hand to cross boundaries. So bring a helping hand. You're trying to use an interesting phrase. Can promote. So yeah, can promote. And then I would say here, can promote the crossing of boundaries, between traditional cultures. So you were doing really well up to here. Can promote the crossing of boundaries between traditional cultures. I know what you're trying to do, and it's quite good. It's quite ambitious, but it doesn't quite work. You see, can promote the crossing of boundaries. The crossing of boundaries is still okay, between traditional cultures, between different traditional cultures. In my opinion, however, it looks excessively optimistic. It seems excessively optimistic, good with this semicolon. Despite the seductive changes this tendency brings to the table, the flip side might be overlooked. Yeah, that's quite nice. Might well be overlooked. It probably reads better with a well. Firstly, as history has shown many times, the dominant, economically more advanced nations tend to advocate their culture as more valuable, set their standards, or implicitly have patronizing attitudes towards different cultural backgrounds. That's a very good sentence. Let me try it again. Firstly, as history has shown many times, the dominant, economically more advanced nations tend to advocate their culture as more valuable, set their standards, or implicitly have rather patronizing attitudes towards different cultural backgrounds. This one's worked very nicely. The English language not only became the lingua franca, but also turned the spotlight on Hollywood production, leaving French, German or Spanish authors as part of the film industry fringe. As part of the film industry fringe, it's not wrong. It would probably read on the fringe of the film industry. And another colon. Western fine art tradition is considered the golden standard in most renowned galleries. English writers dominate the bookstore. The rock band's lyrics are exceptionally English. Okay, I see what you're doing. Okay, the English language not only became the lingua franca but also turned the spotlight on Hollywood production, leaving French, German or Spanish authors on the fringe of the film industry. Okay, I'm going to use a full colon because you're bringing this on. You're explaining this idea. Western fine art is considered the golden standard in the most renowned galleries. English writers dominate the bookstores. The rock band's lyrics. I think I would probably say the lyrics of rock bands are exceptionally. You see, exceptionally can either mean very English or as an exception. I don't think exceptionally is the right word. Normally, let's use something, without fail. The lyrics of rock bands are without fail in English. Secondly, the big international companies and chain shops and chain stores and chains. I think I'm going to go chain stores. And chain stores corner the market and freeze out local arts and crafts, traditional family restaurants and other businesses. Copycat fashion food and brands replace native production. Thirdly, the prospect of higher living standards abroad seems extremely appealing to many young professionals, which encourages migration and new lifestyle acceptance. I'm going to accept that, and new lifestyle acceptance, it reads quite well. Brain drain impoverishes less developed countries and hinders their national and unique development. Their unique national development, without this and, their unique national development. Globalisation and cultural unification are inevitable. Nevertheless, not only countries' financial prosperity, but also identity, originality, and distinction should be considered the primary objective of national development. Okay, originally you had 260 words. Let's fix this last sentence. So you can, not only countries' financial prosperity should be considered. You've got a nice inversion here, but let's see. Nevertheless, not only not only should a country's financial prosperity be considered, be taken into account, not only should a country's financial prosperity be considered. I'm going to believe you're considered. But also its identity, originality, and distinction, distinctness, uniqueness. Because distinction normally talks about something that's very good. He acquitted himself with distinction. Not only, but so globalisation and cultural unification are inevitable. Nevertheless, not only should a country's financial prosperity be considered, but also its identity, originality, and uniqueness. Okay. Should be considered the primary objective of national development. You see, but also and primary objective, because if this is the primary objective, then this factor doesn't. Not only should a country's financial prosperity be considered, but also its identity, originality and uniqueness, but also should be part of the primary objective of national development. Should be the primary development of a nation's development. Of a nation's development. 260 words. It's pretty good. Let's see, you've been very ambitious with this, and I think it's you've probably tried to go too far, but that's the way to learn as well, so I'm not going to criticize you for it. Let's see, how well did you answer the question? Okay, you answered the question quite well. This last paragraph is a little bit complicated to understand, although it does work. I think maybe something like 1.5 out of 2. 1.5 out of 2. Let's see, the vocabulary used I think is very good. I like the vocabulary you've used, and I think I would give that 1.75 out of 2. The grammar you've used is also quite good, but there've been one or two difficulties with it. I think maybe 1.25 out of 2. How well does it hang together? Cohesion and cohesiveness. The different paragraphs fit together very nicely. But maybe the cohesion within the paragraphs is less clear. 1.25 out of 2. And then is it easy to understand? Is it easy to read? Does your message come over very well? I think perhaps if it was a touch less formal, it would read more easily. I think probably again 1.25 out of 2. I think overall I want to give this a 6.5, 6.75 at IELTS. Is it C2? Yes, it probably is, just about. Maybe a 7 at IELTS, but it's just on the border. There are bits that are definitely C2, but there are probably too many mistakes. It's not natural enough. So, well, it's a good essay anyway. Well done. So, this is about globalisation. So, bye for now.